This is a Shelfie of me, Ruth Freeman, in front of one of my bookshelves. They say you can tell a lot about someone by the books on their bookshelf. So I'm going to give you a tour. I have travel books up here. I have some history. I have photograph albums all across the bottom. I used to take photographs with a camera, but now, of course, we all take them with our little phone. So I haven't been as good lately about putting photographs in an album, but I have a lot of pictures. I have some kind of odd books from when I was doing research for my nonfiction picture books for children. So for the book Bedtime, which was a picture book on the history of beds, I have The Philosophy of the Bed, more than I ever needed to know about a bed. I did a book on underwear, what we wear under there, and so I have interesting books like The Corset, which was actually fascinating. Then I have my most favorite children's books that I would like to tell you about. I've moved every now and then over the last few years, so I've gotten rid of some of the books I don't need anymore, but I have kept and lugged around my very favorites. So in no particular order, ancient copies of Flower Fairies of the Spring, lots of coloring and doodles in it. I think this might have been my mother's copy of Tale of Peter Rabbit. Also lots of doodles falling apart, but it's can't beat it. Little golden books, The Sailor Dog, wonderful old story about a little dog being shipwrecked and making up a house out of driftwood. For some reason that really appealed to me, making something out of just things he found on the beach. Other picture books I grew up with, Wait Till the Moon is Full, illustrated by Garth Williams. Garth Williams did so many illustrations in the 50s and 60s, and I still just love them so much. Wait Till the Moon is Full. It's a great book. I grew up with Eloise. Again, these illustrations are amazing. It's one thing that books do for you, I think. I will never know what it's like to live in the Plaza Hotel in New York, but a book like this makes me feel like I know exactly what it would have been like, and I just love Eloise and Nanny and everybody else there in the hotel. Owls in the Family. Oh my goodness. This is nonfiction, memoir by Farley Mowat. The most amazing animal story. It's just lovely. Charlotte's Web, of course, one of my all-time favorites. Again, Garth Williams is the illustrator. I think books, we learn so much about being human and about life from books. And I know one thing I learned from Charlotte's Web was about love and friendship, but love. An old copy of James and the Giant Peach. This book and books like this, you know, you learn about mean and wicked people, and also about how much fun it would be to live in a peach pit. I grew up with this amazing series, Scribner's Classic series, that had belonged to my mother and my uncle. Books like The Black Arrow, Robert Louis Stevenson, and the illustrations, I think, are N.C. Wyeth. Anyway, I just love these classic novels. A few more. I could talk all day long about children's books, but I don't want to keep you that long. Little House in the Big Woods and that whole series. You know, I learned about the frontier and making do, what it was like to be out there in South Dakota, North Dakota. This was a book I discovered later. Catherine called Birdie one of my favorite books told by this girl in her voice, and actually, maybe that's one way I got an idea for writing about Anais through her point of view. Five Children in It. I don't know if anybody reads E. Nesbit books anymore, but they were one of my favorites. E. Nesbit was a woman. She wrote many, many books, and they were all in my school library. I loved them. And this is about at the top of my list for favorite children's books, The Wind in the Willows, and especially these illustrations by Ernest Shepard. I still like reading parts of this book. It's not dated. It still speaks to me, and the characters are so beautifully described. I think my all these favorite books of mine, I love finding a book where you go to another world and you meet people, you learn about these places that you will never go, but the author, especially in these books, the author does such a wonderful job with words that you feel like you know the place so well and you know these characters so well. I will never live in Narnia. I will never live in probably Western Canada or some of these places, but you just learn so much, and you learn about what it is to be human and what life is like. So these are my favorite books, and this is my Shelfie.